have to fucking handle Corey. This is serious. We have to.
Alright, well, so is my fucking Noah Ark time traveling
would you
spiel.
fuck? Do fat women count? What?
Fat women?
Yeah.
That's not an animal.
Animals. What?
Yeah, they're animals. You keep them pigsties. You throw apples at them. You throw tomatoes at them.
I don't know. What do I say?
I know. Hold on.
What's a pretty animal?
A cat. I would fuck a cat for real. If you want it to be a fucking because sometimes our cat puts sesame in like, oh, you want it?
It's gonna rupture its insides.
Not my dick. If you've seen this, the cat will be fine.
That is a bird. Let me tell you something.
Yes, it's twisted like a.
Let me be fucking frank.
So, Corey, recently you shaved your head.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can tell you about the experience. If somebody's ever had a long thing of hair and you go to like a professional to shave your hair, I shaved my hair because Chris and everyone, well, you never fucking saw it.
I did too. I did it.
Basically, in order to be a part of Sleepy Academy, you have to shave your head, okay? I'm sorry, that's the requirements.
This is starting to bother me because you guys are all with Sleepy Cabin. All of a sudden, you're all shaved heads.
Yeah,
I'm like, and you guys are like, you're asking me.
Chris, myself, and Corey have all shaved heads.
All right,
and you fucking fuckers are trying to peer pressure me into doing it. And I'm like,
right, these are the rules.
I'm not gonna give off the impression this place is filled with fucking skinheads. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna keep my hair.
Well, are you blue-eyed?
I did it for the team, so we could all maintain that impression like a bunch of fucking Nazis.
So here's the thing. Everyone shaved their head, and I had like a fucking lion's mane, and I'm like, I cannot stand having this rug on my fucking head anymore. So I went in and shaved it. Let me tell you something. I never shaved my head before for as long as I've been. When I was a kid, I used to get like buzz cuts, but I was young. I didn't give a shit. I went to a professional to do it. I never did it myself.
Yeah.
After shaving for like 5 minutes and looking like a pedophile, eventually you will start to actually.
Did you kind of fuck with it, like shave the top of your head so like you were balding?
Dude, I
let the sides out just like if you're a dirty person.
I made different faces.
So I could take a peek in the future.
I tucked my balls into my legs. I was completely naked because I had to make sure the feeling was right. And I shaved my head, and eventually when it was all shaved off, I still had like bits and pieces and looked like an asshole. But I did it, and let me tell you something. The first time you do it, it's just like when you have a lump sum of hair fall down, it is fucking terrifying, but the feeling of shaving your head is amazing when you do it by yourself. It's very freeing, because then you have the option now. Now it's like, well, I shaved my head, I can do it again later, or I cannot do it, but I know what it's like now.
I did it because I had a bald spot coming in. I wanted to see.
Yeah, there's two reasons people shave their head. It's because either they're fucking balding, or it's because they just want to shave their head and they want to,
At the time, I really didn't have a lot of money, and I didn't feel like spending like $30, so.
We all tell a father story.
Yes, my dad has an Ace Ventura Pet Detective haircut. He used to really show it off. Like he was like that cool guy.
Like a pompadour? Is that what it's called?
I don't even know. But my dad was a nerd in that regard. He would like drive his car around and he would like pull up.
Was he a delivery man?
He's high in his profession, but basically,
He's good at what he does.
My dad would fucking act like Ace Ventura any chance he got. He would wear a Hawaiian shirt. When he parked his car, he'd be like and he would quote Ace Ventura like it was fucking Bible. At the time, I was like 18 to 20, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't care. When I was young, I used to clap and laugh, but when you grow up, eventually you start, like, and my dad used to. This is going to go into another tangent.
This is like dad stories.
One story.
What dad story?
All right, this is my real dad story. Fuck Corey. This is my real one. Actually,
you lost your turn, Corey. Or you forfeit.
You lost your privileges.
I forfeit my dad's story.
My dad's story is.
What the fuck? It was my turn.
What's my dad?
Chris.
My dad's story's cool. My dad owns stores in Wexford Town in Ireland.
Okay. And candy stores.
Yeah, he sells sweets and toiletries.
Okay.
And shitty mirrors. But anyways, one time I was up in his office, and that's right next to where he kept all the like sweets in storage.
Yeah.
And there was Chewits, and I was like, Dad, can I have some Chewits?
What are some Chewits? What are Chewits?
Oh, Chewits are like gummy sweets, and they're like,
What can you relate those to?
So alien.
They're just so chewy.
Chewits.
Chewy as fuck, right? Anyways.
Wait, like now and later?
Is it just one brand of candy?
Yeah.
Is it like now and
Skittles?
Like the whole store is filled with just one?
Or is it like Laffy Taffy?
It's like Taffy, yeah.
Okay, Laffy Taffy's Taffy.
Right. Anyways, I was like, can I have some Chewits? But I was like, okay. And then I grabbed like 50 packets of them. And they come in little squares and little wrappers. And I took them all out of the wrappers and I rolled them into this huge big fucking ball. And because I was up in the storage, it was really dusty. And I was like, look, Dad. I took a big bite out of it. My dad screamed and slammed it down on his desk and threw it in the bin. He was really mad.
That's
Well, I would
disgusting.
have been upset.
It was funny though.
You ate all his chews.
I did. I rolled them all up into a big dusty ball.
For some reason, I was like thinking you were gonna say like he had a little pinhole in his wall he spied on. I went up to his office and I saw a little hole in the wall.
You heard him breathing, and you're like, Dad, you saw.
I thought I was doing God's work, rolling up a huge ball of tulips.
That's what Jesus did. He rolled up Puits and showed everybody, and they fucking screamed the right away.
Jeff.
That's basically how the Bible is.
Tell me
has
that
his,
story.
Death has his fatherly story.
Oh, my dad has all these stories about how I was kind of afraid to know him as a kid. He'd tell me about how he'd always be outrunning cops in his Corvette.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I don't know. He was kind of scary sounding. I don't know. I'm like, why were you such like a vigilante, or like why are you such a delinquent? And he's like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, my parents made me go into the. He'd tell me about how he went into the Marines, and he learned how to fight with how to disarm people who had knives and all that stuff. But I'm trying to think of an actual story.
My dad actually did that.
What?
My dad actually went to the Marines, and he was like studying to be a chef at one point, but he
Yeah.
also was like learning how to self-defense and stuff, and he learned how to knock
Learning how to be a
weapons out.
chef and fight with knives at the same time.
He was also
Cook
a
the
gourmet
soup,
chef.
kill it.
This, you know, I think you watched.
Too many video games.
No.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, what's that movie Steven Seagal? You watched Under Siege. This is not your dad. You watched Under Siege.
What the fuck is Under Siege?
You're saying your dad is
He was a
Steven Seagal.
military chef. And he fought terrorists.
My dad is not a chef. He can't even make a steak. There, I said it.
Can your dad do backflips?
Yeah.
My dad's story is I went to McDonald's when I was a baby boy.
Your fucking story is made up and stupid.
This is true. This is actually true. I went to McDonald's when I was a baby boy.
McDonald's.
McDonald's when I was a
Old
baby boy.
McDonald's.
And I was in a ball pit.
Yeah.
My old man sitting there throwing balls at me, playing with me. And some big buff dude runs in. Says, "Is that your ugly boy there? Is that your uggo son of yours?"
Uggo?
Uggo. He
son.
pointed at me and said, "Uggo right there."
That's cool, dude.
And my dad said, "What the fuck did you say, you freaking dumb crap?" And the guy goes, "What did you say to me?" My dad does a backflip. The guy goes, the guy goes, "You could do a backflip?" I'm out. Walks away.
Jeez, dude.
My dad gives me a big kiss, and we went home.
My dad.
So my dad saved me that day. We turned out the guy had a big baseball bat in his car. He was killing people around the city, just beating people. He said, if the cop said, if he would go approach people, if people couldn't do backflips to impress him. Let's talk about goblins for a second.
All right, this is a topic that me and fucking Zach have been arguing about, and we've been wanting this to be settled, okay? My opinion of goblins are they are about the same size as a midget, and Zach is convinced that they are larger than midgets, and I would like to hear your explanation on that.
Look,
First of all,
all I
I
ask-
heard Chris said that how tall are they?
I would assume they're like 4 foot.
Exactly.
I said
personal opinion.
You said 2 feet.
I did not say 2 feet.
Corey.
What the fuck is as big as a shoebox?
Corey,
man? I don't need a goddamn
Corey held up big.
These are, first of all, these are
held up
goblins.
You said, oh,
Guys!
clearly this is a goblin size.
I know this is serious. It's a serious topic, but be civil.
Okay.
Goblins.
Let me
Okay,
talk.
I'll be civil.
Let me
Corey's
talk.
fucking wrong.
I said,
yes.
I fully remember on Zach's tangent about a crazy goblin
It
standing
wasn't
in the
crazy.
middle.
Here's the situation I give Corey. You bullshit. I said, Corey, you're walking down the street to go get a hamburger or whatever the fuck, and you see a terrifying goblin illuminated in the street light at nighttime with a big club, and it goes, oh, and starts
And
charging
this
you.
was my response.
And then Corey said, how tall is the goblin? And I said, how tall do you think it is? And he said, 1 inch tall.
No, I
And I
didn't.
said,
He
you've
did,
never
he
seen.
did.
I wasn't like, okay, I'm not doing the scale of Zach's penis. Okay, I was doing.
That's 1 foot. That is 1 foot. Talk about not that.
I like how you guys all said, oh.
But listen, a goblin
I
can
said
be
3 feet.
interpreted
I
as
said
any size.
Here's what I said.
feet.
Here's what I fucking said. I said, what, a small midget? A small midget running with the pitchforks at me?
can't say
Because goblins
midget.
don't
You
exist.
can't say midget.
Guess what? Dungeons and
You can't
Dragons
say
is only in
midget.
fairy tales.
Just say filthy little
Let's
person.
say filthy, disgusting gremlin walking around the
Despite their
street.
size, don't you think they'd be kind of intimidating at that size?
Even if he had a pitchfork and
And
he
Corey,
was
no, you keep going back. You keep going back to the pitchfork.
Corey, he has a club.
I think a big billy club is meant for
Fucking a little tiny goblin's not gonna be able to carry a club.
Let's say he was ripped. Like I would imagine them being
A ripped goblin.
Like how
4 foot ripped
apes have
goblin.
natural muscles on them.
Retard strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, retard
Like he's a
strength.
huge beer
Goblin.
gut, but he can run really fast, and he has like a fashioned like iron pitchfork.
Okay, why do you keep going?
I would
This is
leave
another great
the
debate.
vicinity, but the
Does a
point
goblin,
is...
does a goblin have a club or a
You would
pitchfork?
leave the
It's a
vicinity.
fucking club.
I say club, these guys say pitchfork.
Or a
All right,
dagger.
first of all,
Daggers are
I've
scary.
said this.
A huge thing you can
First of
barely-
all,
yeah,
I
it's
have
scary
said
when it's
this
deep in your
numerous
heart.
times. The point of the thing is to discuss the size of goblins. This is the debate of the century.
doesn't even-
Goblins are the size of midgets.
I think I would run.
How tall is a midget though?
Around 4 to 5 feet tall.
Oh, now you're saying 5 feet, you little shit,
That's
5
not
feet.
true. Midgets are like 3, 4.
You think midgets are like 5 feet tall?
Wait, what's
Definitely
bigger, a
shorter
midget
than
or a
5
dwarf?
feet.
I know dwarfs are fucking uglier.
Oh
I actually,
Oh, no.
alright, when there's midgets, there's small people. They're little arms. We're dealing with goblins, all right? They got big fucking
They've got
ears.
big
That
fucking
adds. You stretch the ear up here.
The
4
ear?
feet.
That's a
You stretch
rabbit,
the ear
Corey.
4 feet.
What the
if you
fuck
stretch
kind of
goblin
goblin?
ears, bend them up 4 feet big.
What the fuck kind of goblin
No,
you see,
ear
dude?
does not count towards size.
Yeah, we're talking from top of the head.
That's like saying a fucking tiny alien with a huge antenna counts as 6 feet tall.
It does.
It does not.
Where's your?
That doesn't
who
count.
says?
That doesn't
the top
count.
of
No,
his
it's up in the
skull.
head. It's
Let
the
me
top
tell
of
you
the
something.
skeleton.
A goblin is 4 to 5 feet tall.
5 feet's way too tall. I've said they were big, and 5 feet's too tall.
Bullshit.
No.
For a goblin?
Have you ever played?
Oh,
have
wait,
you ever
goblin.
For a
played
goblin?
No,
a game with a goblin in it?
Yeah,
Guess what?
Oblivion.
Goblins are slightly tall.
Yeah, they're like 5 feet. But in Harry Potter universe, they're like 1 feet.
So what are your thoughts on aliens? Like
Well,
spooky gray
You ever
aliens?
seen an alien?
I've heard, I know I've never seen Alien, but I've heard from various sources that believe in aliens, there are actually 12 alien.
12 different species.
Yes.
I know there's
And
the
there's
big-
a galactic
I
council.
have a question.
The DC species.
I'm actually being serious.
Yes.
Is a reptilian considered an alien?
Yes, that they think they're the sexy
I've
girls.
heard there are reptilians that actually live underground.
They're the big angel ones.
Have you
The
ever
gray-
seen a video of? No. Have you ever seen a video of our president?
Corey!
Our president. Right. This is
That
important.
blinks, yes, and it's yes.
Yes, he's a reptile.
240p video, terrible quality, and
Yes.
then he transforms.
Because that's what aliens do. They blink while they're giving a
See,
national.
if I was a reptilian who controlled the media and the earth, the first thing I would do is reveal myself on national television.
Exactly. In a 240p quality video, I might
Of
add.
course, but
So
the other
the 12
aliens,
types of
there's
aliens.
the gray aliens.
Yes.
The greens.
There are
aliens are
there are
aliens.
apparently gigantic, like hairy, I think like bat aliens.
Sasquatch.
They're very large.
Wow.
I know there's big white ones.
I
don't know what the- I don't know what the
huge
rest
ones,
are.
too.
What about the spaghetti? The spaghetti aliens.
Those are the worst kind.
The spaghetti aliens.
You don't want to deal with those.
Apparently there's jellyfish that circle the earth.
Oh,
in space.
Christ almighty, don't even...
It's true.
Dude, that's a real alien.
I swear to gosh, I saw a UFO when I was younger.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I did.
You saw an unidentified flying object.
No, but you don't understand. It
You
was
saw an unidentified object.
I swear, it was a fucking neon green spaceship.
Do you recall when we were driving outside of our house and I said, look up, it was like really foggy.
Yeah.
And it looked
It
like,
wasn't that.
Yeah, Jeff, you can, like, if you look at airplanes, they can look
Yeah.
completely different the way the night is. Like, one night it was
Yeah.
really foggy outside.
Right.
You've seen Watchmen, right? The huge night owl spaceship, like, ship?
Yeah.
It looked, an
did look like that.
airplane looked exactly like that because the way
did.
the fog was in.
But I'm not talking about that.
Like the.
So I'm
the
saying,
lights will.
yeah, the lights could
I'm
play
not
tricks on you.
talking about that.
You didn't see.
I did. I was
know.
staying at my friend Helmut
You're saying it's an alien.
house.
You're saying it's a
Also,
space alien.
It looked like a space alien ship.
Why would a space alien be flying around an
Here's the thing,
atmosphere?
though.
I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. I was walking with Zach, and we were looking up at the air, and we saw an airplane, and it's like,
Yeah.
that actually looks like it is 20 feet close to
I
us.
said this before. We've talked about this.
20 feet.
It looked very close. I swear to God, it looked 20 feet.
Not quite. I mean,
Like, I
kinda-
could
That's
reach up and
lower
grab
than
it.
the roof of
Dude,
your
I swear
house.
to God,
200
I was
feet.
sleeping on his floor in his apartment. I looked up into the sky, and there was this fucking weird.
What'd it do?
You could have just it flew by really slowly.
Okay.
like a plane.
Let me
You, no, it was not far away.
Chris,
I swear to God,
Chris.
to my vision, it was fucking huge, right? And it looked
Yeah.
really close to the apartment,
Yeah.
and it was like bright green.
Oh.
Chris,
I swear to God.
What's more likely that you misidentified something, or that a space alien from a different, completely
I'm not
evolved-
saying no. I'm saying I
completely
saw a
evolved
UFO.
section
I'm
of the
saying I
universe
saw a UFO that
flew
looked like
above your friend's house, or that you misidentified
I
something.
said it's a UFO that looked just like a spaceship. I'm not saying it was a spaceship.
But when you say spaceship, it adds so much stuff to
Dude,
it.
I swear, it looked like a fucking.
But how would you know what a spaceship looks like? You have to know.
It didn't look like it was from this earth.
Guys,
How can you say that if you've never seen something from that's not from this earth?
Exactly, it was alien.
You don't know that if you've never seen something that's alien.
Zach.
It's an
You were there that night.
unidentified
is
flying
your friendship
object.
over now? Is this the
What?
breaking point?
I've said you did not see the space alien.
Yeah, more than likely not, but it looked like one. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying you didn't see
Here's
it.
something. This is actually hold on. This is actually like physical evidence that sometimes different chemicals from outside outer space come in and it actually creates different.
I'm just trying to think of the
No, it's like
Zach.
no, it's like when different rocks.
God doesn't exist. How do you explain the sunset?
I have a question. All right.
6 days, all right. 6 C's of creationism, cataclysm, catastrophe,
Talking about
What
killing,
the fuck?
sin,
Anyways,
forgetfulness.
I have a question.
Wait, more alien talk.
I have a all right. Let's hypothetically, let's say the alien is flying around up in the sky.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
What is it doing and why is it here? Why does it land?
Is he
had
Google
access-
mapping the?
You had access to it.
It is less stealthy than U.S. technology. Are you fucking kidding me?
If you had access to a spaceship, you would fly right to Mars and take a look
I would
around.
fly the fuck away from Earth.
What would you do
in the atmosphere?
if you were an
sticking it
alien?
out,
If you were
sticking
an
its dicks out.
Zach, if you were an alien and you went to planet Earth, right?
I would land in
Area
somebody's house and
51.
kill them.
Oh my god.
Smash through the roof and kill the bird. I'd fly away.
You wouldn't. You die.
What if you met Lloyd in space?
Yeah.
What the fuck is Lloyd in space?
What if you met him?
Toon Disney show, great show. You should fucking watch
All I
it.
know is Christopher Lloyd played the alien.
I'll tell you a true story about an alien that they have a lot of evidence for. Basically, there was a kid in like the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And this is him telling the story. Basically, he saw this very large silver spaceship.
Oh.
He got in and he disappeared
Was
for
it
like
in the
10
sky?
years. No.
Oh, okay.
No, he disappeared for 10 years. He came back. He was the same age, but his family and everybody else were like 10 years older. And he was telling the story about how on the ship, there were all sorts of... The ship actually went around different planets.
That's the
collected-
fucking movie. I've seen
I
that.
don't know what you're talking about.
I've seen that movie. That's the flight of
This is not Flight of the Navigator.
Okay, can I?
Fine, ruin it. Fine.
The only story I ever heard that I actually believed was in the 70s an alien.
I was like, wait a second. That movie was burning.
You guys don't watch any fucking movies.
This
I
Flight of the
swear.
Navigator, like Pee Wee Herman is like the main fucking
Yeah.
like eyeball. It's like
Yeah.
Is it Pee Wee Herman?
look at that adventures.
He's all like, I'm going to change my voice system
Oh,
to
okay.
suit you better. And he's like, nah, and the kid's like, you so fucking stupid, stop it.
That was a good movie. Anyway.
I actually like
Jeff,
that
what
movie a lot.
would your thoughts be if you woke up and there was a gray alien at the edge of your bed, licking its
These
lips?
things come right.
What would you do?
I'd be scared as shit.
What if it said,
Jeff, I love Jakeman. You're my favorite.
Like, thank you. I'm too scared to move.
I'd fucking push into the doorframe and close
All
the door and
right,
it's
I would not move. I would not move.
realistic scenario.
Realistic.
Jesus is standing in front of the corner of your room, screaming loudly.
You know, if that happened, nobody would say, you're Jesus, you're a scary predator looks just like Jesus.
Corey, why the fuck is Jesus screaming? I don't think Jesus ever
Loudly in the middle of a corner.
What is he screaming?
He's trying to get your attention.
Don't fucking do it.
Is he glowing? Is he glowing like light?
Corey, if Jesus just walked in the room, well, he ends up just screaming fucking terrifying me to get my attention.
Does he wear clothes?
Corey.
Yeah, he's wearing his tarp or whatever.
His fucking smelly old robe?
What if you were sleeping and Zach came into your room, and you know like how the door is half open, but there's like a good shadow behind the
see
door.
my silhouette.
You can't see, but Jack's like, Jesus is standing there in that shadow. What would you do?
I'd be like, yeah, bullshit.
What if he said, I love Jesus?
I'd be like, you better start turning shit to wine because I don't believe you.
Hurry your pockets
You'd make him feel
I would. I'd be like, if you were Jesus, hold on. I'd be like, if you were Jesus H. Christ, I would say you have to
I don't
tell
think his
me.
middle.
Jesus H.
What does H stand for? Fucking Geraldo? What the hell are you talking about, Jesus? Everyone
Are you
says
Jesus H. Christ?
Oh, that's a different guy, sorry.
He's like,
H is like spelled A-I-C-H.
H, yeah.
So if he's like, listen, all right, I'll prove it, but like, I'm only gonna do one thing.
What if he's like, I'll prove it. He pulls up his dick and there's a nail through it. What do you think? There's a huge nail pierced through his
I'm like,
cock.
that's not evidence. Turn my beer into wine.
What if Jesus
Beer.
turned your leprosy into wine?
What if he turns your piss into wine?
What if he just like, look, I'll blow you. I'll give you the best blowjob ever, and that'll prove it.
Jesus wouldn't do that to me.
He's like, yeah, you're a faggot, dude. You know Jesus
This
blow
is all
you?
offensive anyway. Yeah, it's offensive.
It's like Jesus. What's wrong with Jesus?
I can't. I'm not tolerating
You
this.
got it tolerable.
This wasn't bad at all.
Alright, so Jesus comes in, okay, Jesus walks into your room with a fucking plate full of crackers. He's like, you gotta come to my ceremony this Sunday. There's a guy gonna be talking about my stories.
Ritz crackers, fucking sandwich crackers. You're like, dude, he's sucking. He's like, yes, I had asshole. I thought he was my cabinet. Fuck you, dude. What's your problem?
What if you could only find the ones that had like the filling in them?
He had the stale Italian bread and the Ritz crackers and the jelly and jam. He fucking comes
Hawaiian
into your
punch.
room. He like
With fucking dead
smacks
bugs.
him aside. He's like, wake up, idiot! You gotta go to Sunday church. You go to church. You wait for the guy to come out and tell us stuff. He's like, I already read this in the fucking Bible. You leave.
All right, one last question.
You go to IHOP. You have a terrible experience.
You take him to IHOP.
Yeah.
What would he order, Corey?
What do you order?
He would order everything.
Jesus would totally complain about everything.
He would be like, wow, this place is awfully.
This doesn't taste enough like sand.
Yeah, it's this is a crackers. Yeah, nothing's crackers. Fucking chill out. Dude. Get some fish or something.
You would come in. He'd be
Pancake,
like,
man.
he'd be like,
Do you guys have any like fish? No, dude, just get pancakes, you fucking asshole.
they do have fish and chips. He'd be like, we have fish and chips.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
he'd want like a dead fish.
he'd be like, I want full fish.
He turned one of the black waitresses into wine.
He turned white and be like, I think Steven, she screamed.
Oh my god. But Jesus is black.
Wait, he's Arabian?
Are you terrified, Corey?
If Jesus came into my room, bag full of crackers, the usual, I would be like, listen, okay, like I'm.
Corey, what if Jesus walked in and he was like, you were animated, he was behind your ear fucking like eating crackers and chewing your ear. He was like, dude, could you fucking get out of my ear? What are you doing? Fucking getting crumbs all over your Cintiq. What would you do?
I'd fucking be like, dude, this is like
He
$1,000.
fucking walks over and starts sipping soda and fucking spills over. What'd you do?
I'd be like, okay, use your fucking sage powers to
Like,
fix
fucking
my...
chill out, dude. Don't worry about it.
You politely ask him to magically fix everything.
Yeah, I'd be like, please, you have spilled fucking soda on my Cintiq.
You'd be like,
Please
dude,
take
you'd be like,
precautions.
dude, I'm a magic. I'm not rich. What's your, fucking buy another one?
Do you think Jesus was circumcised?
Yeah, he was cut.
Why though?
What do you mean, why?
Because he was made in God's image.
He's... Alright,
It's true.
But if he was circumcised, do you think they kept his little tiny foreskin and like put it in
Somebody wears a hat.
preserve it.
Somebody walks
Someone
around
wears as a ring.
a cocker.
Alright, here's the thing. If you circumcise Jesus, you would want to keep that in like some sort of container.
You
that
wore it
can
as a
see.
ring, you'd stay alive forever.
What if that was like Super Saiyan level 2 for Jesus? Like Jesus had like a leg.
Everyone would try and get
His
Jesus'
dick would
foreskin.
auto.
It's like the Holy Grail. Yeah, it's like Holy Grail of Jesus'
Yeah,
foreskin.
it's like Lord of the Rings 2.0.
Like
You
instead of
have
his
fucking-
eyebrows disappearing, his foreskin disappeared, and then it comes back at the next
If
level.
you wear Jesus'
He turns
foreskin,
into a huge
it gives
Middle
you
Eastern
Jesus'
ape.
powers. You get half of Jesus' powers for a day. Okay?
What would you do if you had Jesus' powers? Would you just fuck with people?
What are his powers?
You can walk
He
around
turns
on
into
water, I
wine,
guess.
he
Hair turns
fixes
yellow.
sins.
He eats crackers.
You can throw goblins really fast.
He can shoot Kamehamehas, like
You
Jesus.
think he
Jesus
could?
is-
Think God would give him those
You
powers?
see, Jesus is kind of egotistical, so he
What
would
if
call all
that's
his
how-
powers.
He'd be way too overpowered like Superman. Nobody'd like it if he could do it.
Yeah, like
What if that's how Moses split the Red Sea? Like he actually shot a Kamehameha.
So he had the foreskin ring of Jesus to fucking split the water.
Sure.
Do you
I
think
guess that makes
do you think
sense.
Joseph ever spread Mary's period or the Red Sea?
So let's see that baby water split.
Get that shit out of here! Spread it out.
We're talking about period, but it'd be sweet if you did that just like the spread of pussy.
Yeah. Oh,
It's for any purposes. Like, don't use your hands. Use your
Dude, you
fucking
turned it into a
powers.
rape joke. I was talking about consent.
oh, stop is good.
You know,
Because it rips her pussy in half and tears her skin.
Oh,
it must have been really awesome to be alive 2,000 years ago.
Yeah,
You
you
fucking live to
shit
be
like that.
15 and you get
Stale bread and fucking get like what? Like chicken pox?
You fucking eat sticks and you die. That's your life. That's what you look
Have you
for.
had sticks again? Yeah.
Yeah. Cooked? No, just raw sticks.
It was sucks to have leprosy.
Leprosy?
Yeah.
It would suck to be like
Like
cancer.
rotting alive.
Have you ever seen
shit,
what
are you
syphilis
serious?
does if you don't want to treat it?
What is leprosy? Like I always
you
thought
fall
leprosy.
apart.
I thought leprosy was like a type of like like seizure. Leprosy.
No.
It makes your skin fall off.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of rotting in a way. I have to look up the exact. I apologize if this isn't the correct.
Someone's good like
Definition,
that.
but you're-
Some lepers out there is going to be
I
tightening his
I imagine
elbows.
you smell really bad and your skin is rotting. That's
Are
how
you
I-
serious?
Have you ever seen what syphilis does if you don't want to treat
What do
it?
we do?
It fucking turns you into a walking skeleton. I'm not
Have
kidding.
you heard of crocodile?
Syphilis.
Oh, it turns your skin
Chris,
into like
it's
It's an
crocodile.
You
STD.
know, Chris, have you heard of
How's
this
it happen?
crocodile?
You pee in a girl.
Have you heard of crocodile?
That's a fucking Pokemon.
What's the Russian?
Crocodile is a type
Oh,
of
crocodile the drug.
Yeah, there's a Russian. I
Oh,
think it's
that,
Russian.
yeah.
You do it, and there's pictures of these people with their fucking entire legs melted off, just
What?
completely melted.
They're basically
Hold on.
injecting like pipe cleaner and shit.
Yeah, but their fucking skin just melts off completely.
Why do they do it? It has to be worth it. Everyone has to do
It's gotta
feel good.
Yeah.
Alright, if the Russians are doing it, you know it's gotta be like...
Gotta be good. They're like they see their actual bone. And
Are you serious? What is it? What is it? Are they injecting poison into their fucking
Pretty much,
blood?
dude, but it gives them a
Are you
high. It gives them
Yeah,
a
it's
high.
like it's like
That's
cleaner
like-
and shit.
that's like-
It's really bad.
It's like a high. It's like, hey, check it out. My hand's fucking like turning into that fucking guy.
You guys,
Inject it into their gooch.
dude, have you guys ever dealt with people who? Have you guys ever dealt?
Horrible.
I know, they're gooch rots.
Have you guys ever dealt with people who act more high or drunk than they actually are?
I hate that shit. You know what? The people that have never actually been high, their
drunk.
examples of being drunk or high are like these most fucking mundane.
It's whenever they ride a hike up to, it's like, whoa man, look at the chair. It's like that's not what people.
Yeah, when people are high, I guarantee you're not fucking like
Are
hallucinating.
you guys mad about that one YouTube video?
No.
No, that guy's just an asshole.
I haven't seen that.
But I was talking about this earlier. I can't. What are
No,
these,
just
like,
in general, like when someone's like, oh, man, when I'm high, fucking dancing
can't
elephants,
stand-
like you don't see dancing elephants.
Yeah,
unless
dancing
you're,
elephants.
You're tripping.
Is that what you said? You said you've seen a bunch of stuff.
No, when I'm high,
Corey.
there's a huge difference.
It all
Okay?
comes down-
I can tell you the experience of being high. You don't see fucking dancing elephants and magic mushrooms popping out. What you see is you see like what you would see if you were really paranoid. Like when I did like really shitty weed, I got super paranoid and I started like thinking like people were telling me like
Yeah, it's thoughts. It's not
yeah,
so
it's
much
like it's
visual.
overthinking. Like you think like people are watching you
Yeah.
when they're not. It's just like that kind of hallucination. Like this one time, I'll give you a story. This one time we got high before we went to this concert, and I got a beer, like a normal beer. I ordered it, and this woman, I gave her my card because I guess you're supposed to do that
Yeah.
or something.
Pay for it, right?
But I didn't understand what she was asking. She was like, I'm going to keep this. And I'm like, oh, can I have it back? She's like, no. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean no? She's like, you can have it back when it's over. And I'm like, what's over? She's like, the concert. I'm like, can I have it back? Like, can I just... Because I was really uncomfortable already because it's like, you know, shitty weed makes you really uncomfortable.
Wait,
But
so what card is it? Was it card, your credit card?
basically, essentially, you have these weird situations where you have these miniature... It's not like where you start seeing fucking dancing worms and bugs coming out of your hand. It's just like basic hallucinations to a point where I was drinking alcohol, and when I looked at it again, it was completely full. It never went down when I drank
Yeah,
it.
people
I would drink
make
it and it would
like-
still be full, and so because of that, I kind of got freaked out because I felt like I was in a time lapse.
I also can't stand how people write drunk characters. I talked about this earlier.
Oh, yeah,
I can't
yeah.
stand when people they write a drunk character and all they fucking do is they have the guy like walk into the house and be like, I'll have number 5 or whatever. It's like, that's not funny, dude. Stop. No drunk person has ever fucking thought they were in a fast food place when they weren't.
Usually, you
That's not what drunk
know.
people do, dude.
Yeah.
You don't hallucinate and think you're at a fast food restaurant.
Are you sure?
I guess. I mean, when you smoke one toke of the weed, you see Bill Clinton crawling out of your ass. I don't know what these people
All
are.
he does is make you tired and
Exactly.
a little tiny bit happy.
It
And
makes
it's
you
makes you
tired, and if you're really already paranoid, it makes you super paranoid. I guess whenever I was smoking weed, I was probably in a bad situation because I was also drunk.
Oh yeah.
Smoking weed when you're drunk only makes you think about your heart beating fast, so it's
I think the worst thing weed does is make you laugh at stuff that's not funny whatsoever.
Oh,
Just
God,
destroy
yeah.
it.
It also destroys your sense of humor.
One time, I think the last time I got high, I did the pot brownies, and I watched Lord of the Rings. And I had, you've heard,
I
told you
know
this.
this.
I swear to God, I thought it was the funniest thing I ever thought of. I thought, what if they reshot all of Lord of the Rings, but called Gandalf Gumbledorf? And that was the only, like, every character called him Gumbledorf, and that was the only difference. And I was crying with laughter. And I wrote it down, I got so good, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? I was like, well, it sucks.
Weed stinks.
Yeah, man.
Every time I've done weed, it either makes me into a sack of shit or it makes me want to cry into a pillow.
Which is what's really disappointing is when everybody says, oh, you guys must be so high when you think of your cartoons. It's
Yeah.
like, no, dude, when I'm high, I think of cartoons.
When I
It's fucking
smoke
garbage.
weed, in a sense, it's just I get fucking tired. And now in a sense where I'm not super paranoid anymore, when I smoke it, I'm just like, man, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
But before I used to be paranoid because when you're driving in a car with someone who's smoking weed, you already feel uncomfortable. And then when they pass it to you and you do it, you're just like, all right, now I'm gonna be fucked. Like you just think the worst. So every time you see a cop car, you think sirens are going off. It's just, it's a horrible experience. If you're gonna be doing weed, do it in a legal place where you can actually smoke weed.
If you're gonna inject marijuana, Go
Do it responsibly. Don't fucking go out and explore the world while you're fucking smoking weed.
Jeff-
And don't drink alcohol and smoke weed.
Jeff, are you insulted when people say, "Hey, Jeff, that's a really funny cartoon. You must have been wasted or high when you thought of that"?
Yeah.
Have you gotten that before?
Yes. There's this misconception that we are the craziest fucking people on the planet.
Oh yeah, people.
That's
they
another thing.
stick together.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
People go, oh, you guys must
We
be
can talk
crazy
about
in the
that.
studio, and when you live together,
That's-
you must be bouncing off the walls.
That's a
No,
good
no,
topic.
We
That's a good
fucking-
I
topic.
wake up, I go to Wawa, I get a hoagie, and
Let me explain something.
Like at work.
People think like because
8 hours.
because we're wacky, we do wacky cartoons, we make silly things that we're super psychic and fucking
Psychos.
super psycho, crazy, wacky. We're not. We all work 24/7 all
Incredibly
fucking
boring
day,
people.
and we're incredibly boring. If you think we're fun to hang out with, we might go out to a bar.
Every horrifying, crazy, scary thought that we have funnels into our videos. So that you're just getting our therapy basically.
Every single person that visits us is horrified at how boring everybody is.
Yeah.
They're disappointed.
Let me tell you something.
You guys tell us
Ignore
you're
them.
crazy. It's like, no, you're gonna
And
sit
then
on the
they
couch and watch Netflix
If you think
with us.
you're gonna meet like any of us and be like, wow, you guys are probably like so wacky with each other, actually,
We're not fun.
We're horribly boring.
We're not friendly to.
We're gonna hang out.
Hey, I'm friendly. If you see us, you don't have to come up to us and say like, "Hey, faggot," or like grab us and shake us. You can just shake
Just
our hand.
Corey.
Just shake our hand. Just shake our hand.
I actually, yeah.
Shake our hand and leave.
I get honestly a little
shake my
uncomfortable
hand.
when
Don't shake Jeff's hand. Shake Chris's hand.
Don't even look me in the eye.
Don't,
I don't want to be
our
bothered.
Seriously,
boy Jeff.
yeah.
Jeff sits by himself for reasons.
So, just shake our hands and leave. And speaking of leaving, we're gonna head out. We appreciate you guys for listening.
I'm Spaz Kid.
I'm Wani.
Psychic Pebbles.
Jeff.
And that's
you.
that's it. It's about
Good night.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast. On the left.
That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
7 brides for 7 fuckers.
Oh man,
Is that a good new one?
Lucky
7
brides.
brides for 7 fuckers.
I like it.
Oh my god, last night. So I've been drinking a lot alone. You know what I mean? I sit in the house. I drink quite a bit.
It's fun, right?
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really great.
I know.
I think it's making me better as a person. And I had smoked about 3 or 4 bowls. And I sat on the couch and I watched the first 2 episodes of American Horror Story, which was, let's call it bullshit. But I thought that there were good kills in it. The kills were good, and it's just like, at the same time, you don't need to make a clown that creepy. I don't want to get into it. But I fucking genuinely was half asleep in the throes of booze and stuff like that, right? And I was half asleep through like half closed eyes. I opened up and I swear to God, I thought I saw an old lady in my room.
Yeah, are we recording? Oh, I didn't even know. I thought that was
I beat the shit out of an old woman. No.
Oh, I see.
No, I thought I saw an old lady, and it turned out to be a magazine that I got for the last airplane I took. It was just like it had half fallen out of the bookshelf, and I almost struck it. I'll hit a ghost woman.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe you shouldn't drink. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't drink alone. You're hitting magazines, Henry. You're hitting inanimate objects that are supposed to be read, not hit.
Please, Henry, do not attack any full torso vapors.
Oh my God! Next thing you know, he's kicking books. You should see what he's doing to flyers.
Some full torso fucking vapor pulled up in a quote unquote mail van, and he put my quote unquote mail in my quote unquote fucking mailbox, and I showed that full torso vapor a thing or two by cracking him in his nuts.
Well, postal service workers have it hard enough. I don't think you have to crack their nuts every time you see them delivering you the much-needed packages that have to be delivered to Mr. Famous Celebrity Henry Zabrowski.
Postal workers don't have families.
No.
Postal workers are broken veterans that the government is killing through treating like robots.
Well, that is
Treating
not
them-
entirely inaccurate. If you go back to an episode where we discussed the postal workers' breakdown and how they murdered everybody.
Yeah, that would be Spree Killers Part 1.
Oh, all right. All right, well, that's Marcus, and I'm Ben. Obviously, Henry's here because he's punching books.
Yeah, name's U.S. postal worker Thomas Rafterson. Whoa.
Thomas, what's the
I've seen all
favorite?
your bills. I look through your girly magazines and I wonder what you look like in them. And I'll tell you what you look like in them. You look like fucking garbage.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about the job, Thomas?
I like looking in windows. And I like smelling their cats. If they leave their cat out, I pull out their cat and I just fucking take a big long smell of their assholes. And I just look in the mirror, and if I see the lovely young woman who's living in there, I say, "Oh yeah, sniffing your pussy, sniffing your pussy, sniffing your pussy," and I just, oh. And I also enjoy being on time with the mail.
That's good. I was going to say there's some major cuts happening with the U.S. Postal Service. Do you feel like your activity as a postman has negatively affected the entire industry?
Well, mostly I sleep. I wake up after about 2 hours of sleep because I spend all night punching magazines and drinking scotch.
I see.
Yeah, and then I get into work. First thing I do is go to sleep, and then the second thing I do is I wake up, I slide on a pair of women's underpants, and I jerk off through them.
Oh, you have to.
The thing I do is I get my mail bag, and I do about 45 minutes of mail work, and then I go back to the office, and I go back to sleep, and that whole cycle.
So when do you think the cops are going to catch you as a serial killer? When do you think you're going to be caught?
I mean, we're all doing it together. And I met this man. He said he was a U.S. senator, but he had these weird, like, flap things that shot out of the side of him, like a diplosaur, and he shot venom all over this one guy. But then when we were hanging out, he seemed pretty cool, and he had a pretty big plan for how everything was going to be for the next 30 years. So I'm into that.
Very good. Very good. Well, that is spooky, and that plays in perfectly for today's episode. We got spooky spaghetti. We got some creepypasta for you.
We've got them phantom peribagliato.
Well, what happened?
Pele Peñato?
We got some Parmesan phantasms. We got some creepypastas up in this shit.
Yeah.
And I will say, we've been doing these creepypasta episodes for how long now?
This is our 9th one.
Wow.
9th one. Getting to the bottom of the barrel here.
Yes. People got to keep on writing those creepypastas, you know?
I have a couple of original ones and a couple other things I think they're going to freak you the fuck out.
All right.
And again, this is we're still celebrating Halloween.
Yes.
Went to Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, how was that? With Jackie Zabrowski, of course.
Yes, I did. Thank you to people who suggested I go there. It fucking ruled. A lot less crazy than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And
Did people think that you were brother and sister or husband and wife?
that was what was. Jackie insisted on buying this tentacle hat because we both were we grew up poor. So every time we went to amusement parks, we always see people with all the light up shit on, like all the cool dumb shit. And we was like, I want that. And my mom is always like, you gotta put us in the poorhouse every time.
Right. And you're like, we already live in the poorhouse. Yeah.
So this time I was like to Jackie, I was like, we're getting all the fucking light up shit. And so we were covered in light up shit.
Right. Henry,
and Jackie insisted on buying this tentacle hat that looked like a veil. And so we just looked like an incredibly cold newlywed couple.
Is it your ultimate goal to become white trash with money? Because I feel like that was the trashiest thing I've ever heard in my life. We grew up poor, and I swear to God, when we had our money, we were going to buy light up hats.
Yeah, that's what.
You know, I used to see all them kids that had them big old top hats on made of felt, and they had them aliens all over them.
Man.
Oh, damn it.
I want to be like the rich kids who had that $4.99 dumb light up cap. Dang it.
Yeah, we were living it up. We were Zabrowski rich last weekend, and it was amazing. But no, it's very scary, and I hurt my knee pretty significantly.
Uh-oh.
We went to the Dracula Unborn house, which was kind of stupid, and the movie looks kind of stupid.
Yeah, I know. That seems like a whole marketing ploy. Why'd you go to the sellout place?
Because it was. I paid the money. We were doing every fucking maze. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
We were doing every maze, and I was ready to punch out of Dracula as soon as I walked in there, and there was a fake farmhouse. I didn't see the flappy thing, because a lot of times the guys would pop out and they come out of flappy things, and I was like, it was perfect for them. I was just staring at the flappy thing. I'm like, what the fuck is this door? What is? And then fucking gay ass Dracula pops out of the thing because there was 9 Draculas with wigs on and fake swords, and he was just like, oh, and it scared me so fucking bad that I ran and fell over a stalactite and hurt my knee.
Oh my God, Henry, we've got to make that reality show we've been talking about for years, where we just go to haunted locations. Yeah, it's too perfect.
The shit out of me.
Oh
all
man.
Right. So now we begin this creepypasta episode. I want you to go and put your Nona's apron on, right? But
Unless
take off
she's
all the
using
rest.
it,
Unless she's rip it off her fucking fat.
I mean, I think that's a sexual assault, but
No, I'm just saying. Hopefully, she's not wearing anything underneath it, so you can see her big old hanging burrata bags. Her swinging mazzellas.
oh, I love them. Yeah.
And you fucking take off all your clothes, put on that apron, put on a chef's hat, right? Get a whole bunch of Jamaican basil, if you know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Fucking roll it into a cigarette, a joint. Roll it into a joint.
Jamaican basil, that's weed, huh?
That's weed.
I don't know how that's racist, but
I don't want you to fucking smoke it to your dome piece right now and prepare to get your nipples hard by how scary these creepypastas are going to be.
Yeah. I do think that's how Ed Larson from the Round Table prepares for his job at the Subway, at the cheesesteak shop.
Yeah, well,
It's pretty much a Subway.
So he doesn't punch a customer. All right, so who wants to start?
I can go first.
All right, let's
You want to start off, Ben? Are you sure?
I don't know. I don't care.
All right, well, let's
No, Henry, you go first.
Let me go first.
No, I'll go first. My grandmother grew up in the slums.
Okay, so what's this called?
This is called seaweed.
Seaweed.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, Henry?
No, keep going.
Yeah, it's called seaweed. This is all about, it's a story that people find to be very scary. And everyone's going to be terrified.
Please.
My grandmother grew up in this...
God help us.
All right, Henry, enough. I have an acting role on Thursday.
You could.
I do. I'm playing the Toxic Avenger.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought you're not playing the illiterate butler.
No.
Is how I describe your reading ability?
No, that's for whoever made the Butler's next movie, The Illiterate Butler. I will be the star.
I can't read, Gerald Ford. I better ask Mr. Nixon how to teach me how to read.
I've been interrupted. Very good. My grandmother grew up in the slums of Prohibition-era Chicago. Her family lived in a small house near the harbor, and one of her earliest memories was of a particularly hot summer. It was hot. Seeking respite from the heat, she and her sister discovered a seldom-used section of the boardwalk near an abandoned warehouse. That's fun. Every night for several weeks, the two girls would make their way down to the docks and sit together on the edge of the pier as the sun went down. My grandmother vividly, for a time fondly, recalled the feel of the seaweed between her toes as she and her sister dangled their feet into the murky water. The water wasn't clean. And so that's that's more of a environmental issue.
Yeah.
Is that the scary part of the story?
Well, I mean, if you think about what we're doing to our oceans, that's pretty damn scary. So yeah, maybe people should stop drinking so many Dunkin' Donuts soda or
What are you talking
coffees.
about? What do you just get
Dunkin' Donuts coffees are what's ruining America with the plastic. Anyway, so their feet are dangling there in the murky water due to the pollution we just discussed. It wasn't until years later that she returned to the pier and found that the warehouse had been completely demolished. Curious, she made an inquiry to the Department of Planning and Development. Apparently the warehouse had been owned by the mob, who was using it as a base of operations for the local prostitution racket. So that's kind of fun.
So that's where your mother used to work, right? At the dock, a prostitute house.
Fucking prostitute dog, you fucking fishwife.
Are you guys making fun of my mom? Is that what happened? My mother used to work at... Are you telling me my mother used to work at the prostitution racket?
I'm just saying your mother was very friendly to me and my friends.
My mom didn't have sex with you. Did she have sex? It had only been uncovered when an associate... This is the prostitution racket. Mm-hmm. It had only been uncovered when an associate began disposing of rival hookers by fitting them with concrete shoes and dumping them into the harbor. So
they have like teams, like they were known as like the St. Louis pussy queefs,
right? And then
called like the Rumperton like fishnet bottoms.
Yeah, and then like Vinny's vaginas, they were the tough ones, snapping all the time. Okay, so they were dumping these rival hookers always with their concrete shoes and dumping them in the harbor. Investigating officers had recovered nearly 24 bodies from the water of a secluded pier nearby. How had the bodies been discovered? A passing fisherman spotted some of the victims' hair floating near the surface of the water like seaweed. Their hair, it was their hair that she was touching with her toes.
That the water was dirty because there was seaweed in it.
But it was hooker hair.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the whole point. So let's do
First
that.
of all, I'm just gonna say,
A
if you
pens-
think that a seaweed is a hooker's hair, you are a fucking idiot.
Well, that's-
and you deserve to have the dead body juice all over your feet. You and your fucking dumb grandmother.
Well, this is
I
why-
hope the story is real.
It is real. Prohibition era Chicago, not a lot to do, and you just don't want to. You don't want to realize the hard truth that everyone, that you think is seaweed is actually just a hooker's hair. Everything you think is seaweed is hooker's
That's gonna
hair.
make me great at fucking beaches from now on. Be like,
Yeah.
I got some hooker hair on my goddamn ankle.
I love that.
Going with your dirty Uncle Arnie to the fucking beach.
I don't know why. I feel like it's more disgusting to touch seaweed. I hated seaweed as a kid. Hooker's hair, I can deal with hooker's hair.
It's just grass.
Right, human grass.
Sea grass.
Yeah, it keeps on growing, I think, post-mortem as well.
Yeah, well, actually, that is a myth. It does not keep growing. Rather, the skin recedes. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
Well, you're gonna have a nice full head of hair when you die, Henry.
That's funny. All right, so this story is called The Old Lady. One day at a shopping mall in the afternoon, a woman was coming out of the mall from a shopping spree, cause she was fucking had nothing else going on.
She's a lady.
Yeah, it's fine. People go on shopping sprees all the time, Henry.
I love shopping sprees. She was in a hoppy mode. She was in a happy mode. She had gotten to her car and loaded her stuff that she had bought into her trunk. When she was done loading, she shut the door of her trunk and she saw an old lady standing by the passenger side of her car. The old woman said, "Would you be a darling and give me a lift home? I don't have a car. I was walking all day." The woman said, "I'd be happy to." So she unlocked the door for the old woman.
Don't do that.
Old woman. As she started to make her way around the car to the driver's side, she started to feel uncomfortable. So when she got in the car, she looked at her purse and said, "Darn, I can't find my credit card. I'm gonna go inside and see if anybody found it." The old woman said, "I'll wait for you here." The woman left to go look for help. Then she found a security guard and told him the situation. He went back to the woman's car and the passenger door was wide open. On the seat of the car was a shopping bag that the old woman had been carrying. Inside of the bag was the old woman's dress and a gray-haired wig, along with a huge butcher's knife, a video camera, and a roll of duct tape. And I mean, like, at the same time, first of all, was it Alan Cumming?
Yeah.
Up as an old woman? Like, how do you know? Or is it like cut to reality and it's just a guy, fucking full, huge, like Eddie in an old man woman wig, just
Yeah.
standing there just going like, "Hey, you be darling, give me a lift home. I got an old woman here and I don't have a car. I was walking all day and I kind of like, I'm thirsty for blood." So, did I go too far there?
Think you're overselling.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this story.
Oh, that was it?
That was it.
That's the whole thing?
That's the whole thing.
Oh, my good. I thought there was going to be more. It just sounds like a Newt Gingrich weekend. All right, so somebody died.
Well, technically, she went on Amazon and bought the senator packet.
Right,
In a
exactly.
box that comes with a knife and a roll of duct tape, an old woman's wig,
Right.
and a video camera.
I paid an extra $5 for the J. Edgar Hoover collection.
Yeah, and that comes with panties with an extra wide front, so you can slip your balls in there.
Oh, perfect.
All right, this one is called The Real Santa.
Ooh.
No matter what type of parents you have, they will always tell you about an old man in a red suit with a white beard and a hat that comes
Unless
down.
they're poor.
Unless they're poor.
Yeah.
That comes down your chimney and lays presents in your living room every Christmas, like eggs. Later on, you then find out it's all a lie, but what you don't know is they weren't lying. They were just giving you a slightly hidden warning so you'd go to sleep. Santa is really just an old man in poverty who abducts kids who aren't sleeping on the 25th of December and takes them to a so-called wonderland and does several disgusting and traumatizing things to you that he'll make sure himself you won't remember a single moment of it.
No, he's talking about like sucking your little dick and like playing with your balls, right? And stuff like that.
Yeah,
Right,
stuff
right.
like that. Yeah, very traumatizing.
What if he's
Or he puts
like-
on like a one-man show that's just like really boring.
Yeah. This is my question. If an old man's like sucking your dick and you're like a little kid, right?
Right.
What if he's fucking like really good at it?
I don't think you can be if you don't like it doesn't matter if they're good at it if you don't like them down there. I'm sure a cat's probably fairly good at it.
No, rough tongue.
Yeah, rough tongue.
Continue.
Your parents in bed are actually pleading and begging God to make sure you don't go downstairs, as they secretly themselves have experienced what he's capable of
Oh,
doing.
Mr. Living in a 2-bedroom house. First world's
Like,
first
I'll tell
1%
you, it's really
problems.
weird the way he smelled, but I'll say that fake Santa ate me out for like an hour, and your old father here won't even go down on me for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's the gift
He
that keeps on
loves
giving. Yeah.
But he's left an accidentally large part of information of what happened to them in their brain. Oh, he also likes taking away very important things from children's lives so he can still slightly meddle with children's happiness. Wondering how your dog or cat went missing several years ago when you were little? There's your answer. So next time you and your kids celebrate Christmas, just think to yourself, what could happen if your kids go downstairs and enter the living room? Think about it.
Think about it. They're going to realize that you don't have any gifts for them because you're bad parents.
Bad parents.
Bad parents. Or somebody named Roger stole your cat and had sex with it. There was a guy named Roger in Stevens Point when I was growing up that got arrested multiple times for having sex with cats, which of course kills them because they're relatively small creatures.
That they are, yeah.
And then he would throw them into Iverson Lake.
Even a finger would kill a cat.
Yeah, and this man, I mean, he was mentally
How's he
slow.
doing now? Is he good?
Yeah, I actually think he turned out to be Scott Walker, the governor, which is pretty. Yeah, he changed his name and really had made something of himself.
Good for him.
Yeah. All right, I'll read one called Baby Doll. All right, so this one, Baby Doll. Susie received a realistic talking baby doll as a Christmas gift from her father that year. However, so she got a doll. Every girl's dream. However, try as she might, the doll couldn't find the void left behind by the baby that Susie's father had killed and buried in the basement after discovering the 17-year-old's unplanned pregnancy. Let's read it again. Holy Lord, that took a turn. Susie received.
I don't really understand. It's two lines long.
Right. It's actually four. It's 3 1/4. It's 3
All
and
right,
Susie received a realistic talking baby doll as a Christmas gift from her father that year.
That year.
We know that happened in that year. She got a realistic talking doll.
Yes.
However, try as she might, the doll couldn't fill the void left behind by the baby that Susie's father had killed and buried in the basement after discovering the 17-year-old's unplanned pregnancy.
Yeah.
My main question is why are we still celebrating Christmas?
I don't know. I feel like
If dad killed the baby, you literally shat out a baby, and your father came in there and he fucking popped out its eye. He did something like how I imagine, like, what's the best way to kill a baby, right?
Play golf
Just
with
grab
it.
it by its legs and snap it like a wet towel.
Exactly.
Right? You go like snap, 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 so it's all its bones shatter.
Right.
Instantly.
Right.
Then you're just gonna hang out for months,
I guess.
for Christmas to come.
Well, we don't know
and then
when
your
she
dad's
lost the
gonna
child.
give us a baby doll and be like, wink, 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 wink. Hey, let's not talk about August, huh?
Yeah, I would have tried to distract her from the memory of me murdering her unplanned pregnancy.
Get her a dog.
Yeah, a dog is great because that'll fill the void.
Yeah.
You know what also works for all that? PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That'd be great. So yeah, well, at least Susie got a gift, you know, and that's kind of nice. A lot of kids out there get nothing for Christmas, and she was having sex. She probably had a boyfriend as well.
Yeah.
Unless it was the fathers who made her, who got her pregnant.
What do you got, Henry?
This is a story from Reddit No Sleep that is called Never Go Camping Alone. And it was written by Senyin, Senyin. Or it's real.
Yeah, I mean, if it's real, it is like the saddest story
It's real.
ever.
This is a real story. I could tell. I always loved camping. It's been one of those things that I fell in love with as a kid. My dad and I used to go camping all the time when I was young. Would always tease me about the creatures that would come up to our tents. Wolves, bears, or monsters. He'd often scare me with a monster mask he would bring with him, which is that's really fucked up that he would do that because it sounds like you're getting molested. He'd stand outside the tent and pretend to be a monster just to spook me. It always worked, because you're a pussy. I went on camping last week. It's been 6 years since my dad died. I decided to go on my own to enjoy it, to relax, to try to remember the good times I used to have with Dad. I miss those fun times. I met a kind couple who was camped not too far away. They seemed so happy that I was almost jealous. The day went by just fine. It wasn't until night that something went wrong. I woke up with a jerk. I'm having one. I could hear heavy breathing and footsteps around my tent. My heart raced and I didn't know why. I was disoriented. I didn't know where I was at first, having almost forgotten that I had gone camping out in front of 656 Metropolitan where Ben Kissel lives. Then I laughed, telling Dad to stop. But Dad was gone. He'd been gone several years. That thing outside was not my dad. I felt a strong fear build up inside me as the snaps of twigs echoed in the emptiness of night. I heard no crickets, no wind, nothing, but the thick, heavy breathing that circled around my tent. A shadow cast upon my tent. The fire outside still barely burning. It was stretched, disoriented, but long jaws like a wolf could be seen with teeth that seemed out of place, crooked. And the thick slides of drool were caught in the shadow as it dripped. It had to be a wolf or a bear, I couldn't tell. Dad always joked. I never thought it would actually happen. A deep snarl came from the beast outside. I was so scared. I couldn't scream. I reached for my phone to call someone. No signal. The beast outside began to run against my tent. A cracked snarl as it breathed deeply. It could smell me. I knew it. I didn't know how I knew, but it was there for me. It was going to kill me. The tent began to get pushed in, the creature outside clawing and pawing at it. Then suddenly it launched itself forward, smashing the tent in as it snarled and cracked an eerie howl like a wolf in the night. But wrong. This howl sounded man-made in a way. Howl! Howl! Could not scream. My tent now halfway caved in as the beast tried to find me, and I knew it knew where I was if I screamed. A heavy paw ripped through the tent. I had to cover my mouth with my hands as tears rolled up my eyes. I was going to die. I thought at first a bear paw, but its fur was missing. Claws nearly 3 inches long each, a toe broken, and hanging off as if dead flesh and stitches. I saw stitches going around the beast ankle, as if a human had helped it. I watched as the paw pulled out and a wolf-like muzzle shoved its way into the hole trying to get its head in. Those crooked teeth pointed outwards, a second set inside its muzzle like a shark ready to rip apart flesh. Stitches going across furless flesh as it snarled and growled, trying to rip into the tent more. Then a voice. I felt my heart stop. Come out. Play with me. Love me. I thought I had imagined it, but it kept talking in an inhuman, cracked voice like what you would hear in a distorted recording. But this beast mouth was moving. With every word it spoke so fast it's hard to remember it all, but I remember it keep repeating, love me. It demanded that I leave the tent and love it. I'll make you a part of me. We'll never be alone. Always together forever in my flesh. I heard a scream outside my tent. A woman. I saw the light of a flashlight across over the tent walls that had caved in. An unearthly roar. That same human created distorted noise. It was so loud. Howl! Howl! It was so loud right over me, and then it left. It got off my tent. Love me! I heard it scream in the voice as it ran. I can only assume it was chasing the woman. I could hear her screaming, get off! Blood-curdling screams of sheer horror as she cried. Morning came. I could not sleep that night. I heard a man outside my tent calling to see if I was inside. It was a man dressed in uniform. I guess he was the forest ranger that watched over the camping section. I slowly got out with his help. The couple that had been not too far from me, their tent were ripped to shreds, an area marked off by police. The man told me a murder had happened. I asked the stranger what happened to the man who was with her. He gave me an odd look before asking, what man? She had apparently come alone. I knew that wasn't right. I talked to them. She seemed so happy. He helped me get my stuff to the car. We packed up to leave and thanked him. As I closed my door, I heard him knocking on my window. I rolled it down, and fear struck into me as he stared at me with black eyes, red, inhuman pupils in the center, and tipped his hat, those stitches, around his wrist. You'll love me next time. You'll never want to leave. I slammed on the gas pedal, looking at the side mirror as I drove away, a creepy smile on his face as he just watched. I've never gone back. I'll tell you that. I'm so afraid of going camping now. Seriously. Yep. When I tell this story to anyone else, they just tell me it must have been a bear. And I was just scared. That was not a damn bear. I don't know what it was, but it talked to me. It wants me to love it. I almost want to love him back. we could be together forever, apparently.
That's not the story anymore. I think that's you. I think.
No, but that is literally the last 2 lines of the story. But I do like that. Yeah,
That's
that bear just
perfect.
wanted you to suck his dick.
Yeah, it sounds like he went to Abe Vigoda's campgrounds. It's just one of the perks.
Love me.
It was just
Love
Louis
me, would
Anderson
ya?
wandering the forest.
People have forgot about me. But if you remember me, then they'll cast me in another sitcom with Seinfeld.
Do you remember my years on Family Feud?
Never go to old haunted Hollywood campgrounds ever again. That's scary.
This next one's called Lightning.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I love lightning because that's where energy comes from.
That's not where all energy comes from.
Well, I don't know, but that's where we got our first light
energized
bulb.
Are you a caveman?
No.
Like, are you legitimately?
No.
Like, do you just think that like the sky